Hey guys, so I am here back again with one more video on science for everyone. So in this video we will understand about quarks. You must be knowing that atoms are made up of protons, electrons and neutrons. And if you studied physics at class 12th level, then you also know that protons and neutrons are made up of quarks, up quarks and down quarks. The number of quarks are 3 in proton and neutron. They are up quarks and down quarks. But that is half truth. Why? Because apart from those up quarks and down quarks, there are so many things in the protons. Up quarks and down quarks are even less than 1% of the entire proton. In this video, we will understand what protons are made up of and what is going on inside the proton and neutron. So let's get started and see them one by one. So here, whatever you have studied is this. The quarks are made up of 2 up quarks, 1 down quarks. The up quarks have 2 by 3 unit of charge. So 2 up quarks make 4 by 3 of charge, and 1 down quark has minus 1 by 3 unit of charge. So total charge becomes 1. In case of neutrons, it is UDD. So here you have 2 up quarks, 1 down quarks. Here you have 1 up quark and 2 down quarks, making the total charge to be 0. In neutron, it goes very well with our intuition because we know that total charge on proton is 1 and total charge on neutron is 0. But this is half truth. Why? Because inside the proton or neutron, there are millions, zillions of quarks, up quark, anti-up quark. So it's not 2 up quark, it may be millions of up quarks and anti-up quarks, millions of down quarks and anti-down quarks, million of top quarks and millions of anti-top quarks, millions of bottom quarks, millions of anti-bottom quarks, millions of strange quarks, millions of anti-strange quarks, millions of charm quarks and millions of anti-charm quarks. But there is a constraint in their number. In a proton, if we talk about the number of up quarks, it must be 2 greater than number of anti-up quarks. Why? That we will understand very soon, because particles, for example up quarks and anti-up quarks, they cancel each other. They annihilate each other. So that we will come shortly after understanding this number. Number of down quarks should be greater than number of anti-down quarks by 1. And for other type of quarks which you have never been taught, because the quarks, the number of quarks are equal to number of anti-quarks. So say they simply cancel each other. For antiparticles, there are some properties which must be conserved or some properties which must be satisfied. For example, what are the properties of up quarks and anti-up quarks? Their charges must be opposite. For example, if up quarks have 2 by 3 unit of charges, then anti-up quarks must have minus 2 by 3 unit of charges, so that they cancel each other completely. Their charges must be 0. Total charge of a particle and antiparticle must be 0. Their spin must be opposite. So we know that even subatomic particles do have their own spin. So their spin must be opposite so that they may cancel each other. And apart from that, there must be colorlessness of proton. What is this colorlessness of proton? The colorlessness of protons is not the color in the real sense. The color of quark is like very close to charge of electric charges, which we know of electron and proton. But here this charge is not corresponding to electric field, but this charge corresponds to the strong force. To represent what is this property of quark which enables them to apply strong force, that property we have given as color, and that color we have named as red color, green color and blue color. We know that these are the primary colors and they together make the white color. So here you have seen that we have three quarks. These are called valence quarks. These quarks must be there in the proton and neutron, and these must have three different colors. When we say three different colors, we are saying three different nature of strong charges, and those strong charges together make the entire proton white, means completely neutral of the strong charges. This red is not actually red, this green is not actually green, this blue is not actually blue, but it is simply representing the charge which corresponds to the strong force. Now, if one quark has a red color, its corresponding anti-quark must have anti-red color so that it completely cancel out. And finally, we are left with three quarks. They completely cancel each other and make the proton completely colorless, means completely charge free in terms of strong force. Now, there is one more property to them, that if we talk about these three valence quarks, they may individually change their colors. For example, a red quark may turn into a green quark may turn into a red quark, but at one particular point of time, the total number of quarks having red, green and blue should be 3, and correspondingly the entire sum should become white, that is, the proton should become colorless. Now, coming to strong forces which come into a proton or neutron, which bind all the quarks together, comes out of gluons. They come out of gluons. So these are the particles which held those forces. So gluons and quarks are there in the proton, and they're roaming in the proton with very high speed, with high speed as close to speed of light. And not only that, they are annihilating each other. For example, we have talked that up quarks and down quarks completely annihilate each other, and as a result they completely vanish and they convert into energy. This is going on. They are being formed and they are colliding each other. They are colliding with each other, they are annihilating and they are forming. But now the question may arise in your mind that how they are being formed. If they are being formed, isn't it violating some conservation laws? Yes, you are thinking properly, but at that time you must remember that Einstein has given us this equation E equals to mc square, which says that energy can be converted into mass, and there the same thing is happening. The tremendous amount of energy which is present in the proton actually gets converted, one fraction of that gets converted in one pair of quarks and antiquarks. And so it actually, the quarks and antiquarks, when they are being formed, are getting formed because of the energy, or when they are annihilating, they are completely converting into energy. So basically there is a dual way process of conversion of energy into mass and mass into energy. And coming to the very important point, quarks, which we say that protons are made up of quarks, actually they only consist 1% of the total mass of protons. So remaining 99% is basically energy, which is appearing as a mass in proton, and that energy comes out of two things: motion of those all zillions of particles like quarks and gluons, and apart from that, gluons field. Gluons also produce field, like field of strong force, and in this entire process total energy remains conserved. So this was all about quarks. If you did not understand anything, just tell me in the comment section below so that I may clarify the doubt in the next video.